The Devil All the Time was an adaptation ripe for the picking. Critics compared the 2011 book by Donald Ray Pollock, an American Southern Gothic novel that happens to be set as much in the Midwest as the Appalachian South, to the works of Flannery O'Connor and William Faulkner. Netflix's adaptation, directed and co-written by Antonio Campos, hews tightly to Pollock's grim and violent narrative. Netflix even hired the author to do voiceovers. This makes the project feel like a living audiobook, cast with a fantasy lineup of A-list actors. But the film needs all of this talent just to hang together. Brutal, with a large twist of religious hypocrisy crossed with Southern noir, The Devil All the Time is an oddly meandering film, with little central cohesiveness to hold it together, other than everyone's capacity for extreme violence. The good news is that the film isn't nearly as violent as the novel, but that's not saying much. It opens in the Pacific theater of World War II, with soldier Willard Russell, Bill Skarsgård, losing his faith in God because of the horrors he's witnessing. The nonlinear first third revolves around the elder Russell as he finds love and God back home, only to rage at his creator when his wife, Charlotte Haley Bennett, falls ill. Before moving to the great beyond himself, Russell makes sure to pass on all the rage and religious confusion to his only son, Arvin. In the next phase of the timeline, Arvin has grown up to be played by Tom Holland, and he is heading towards some extreme acts of violence himself. The semi-episodic nature of the story, along with the nonlinear sections of narrative, makes The Devil All the Time feel less like a movie and more like a Netflix series that got edited into a feature film. It's easy to see that The Devil All the Time was made as a film and not as a Netflix series, almost certainly because it's meant as Oscar bait, not merely because it's being released in theaters, as well on the streaming service. The cast also includes Jason Clarke and Riley Keough as a serial killer couple, along with Robert Pattinson, who arrives halfway through as the Reverend Preston Teagardin, an itinerant preacher whose heart is definitely not with God. Even underused actors like Harry Melling and Mia Wasikowska are at the top of their game, playing a couple whose short-lived marriage is disrupted by God's failure to intervene or to faith heal when Melling's character decides to pour spiders all over his face. One big problem, it seems, is that this ensemble was partly conceived with Chris Evans in the role of the corrupt Sheriff Lee Bodecker. The sheriff ties all the disparate parts of this story together over the generations, and he gives the story a grounded, charismatic center. But Evans left the project sometime during pre-production and was recast with his Marvel co-star Sebastian Stan.